What if I told you you could afford more house with less payment? Well, if you're not looking at ADUs, you're leaving some serious money on the table. You can get a lot more home for the same amount of money if you're looking at homes with accessory dwelling units. In this video today, I'm going to show you an example of accessory dwelling unit and give you the numbers to prove how much you can save if you're looking at getting a home with an accessory dwelling unit and how it might offset your cost big time. So come on, let's take a little quick tour and I'll give you some more information about ADUs. So typically an ADU or an accessory dwelling unit is going to be a basement apartment, an apartment over a garage, or even a detached little apartment. Typically you're going to come in and have a little family room here where people do a lot of living and watch TV and gathering. Preferably you have a separate eating area, and then you want a nice little kitchen area. If you can provide washer and dryer services, or at least a space for their own washer and dryer, or you can provide them one, then that's also a bonus. Minimum, you got to have at least one bedroom, obviously, but if you can give a couple of bedrooms to people, it provides way more opportunity, and you want to provide a nice full bathroom. This particular dwelling unit provided the owners an extra $1,300 per month in rentable income. That helped them afford a lot more home. And usually you're going to have a separate door that locks it off with a deadbolt or something like that for some privacy from the rest of the house. So in this basement here, you've got another bathroom and some more bedrooms and a whole nother living area for the main part of the family that can be down here. So accessory dwelling units often are used to offset the income, or maybe they're used to help some in-laws or parents. Often they're called mother-in-law apartments. They can be used for helping aging parents who can't always take care of themselves, for adult kids that may come back in between moves, or for caretakers. Maybe you're going to be out of the country for a while and just want somebody to take over your house and keep an eye on things while you're gone. Instead of compromising on location, an ADU can help you afford the area that you want to live in. Maybe it's an area that you thought previously was out of your price range. Well, if you find a place with an ADU, it can certainly increase your income by renting out that accessory dwelling unit by $1,200 to $2,000 a month. At least here in Utah, that's what I've found the price ranges to be. So typical smaller one-bedroom place with a living area and a bathroom and a kitchen, you're going to get $1,200 a month or so. If you can find a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, or 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you're probably going to be closer to between $1,600 and $2,000 a month that you'll be able to rent that out for. There's a lot of people that are really having a hard time right now with these high home prices. We have an affordability crisis. Obviously, interest rates are really high, and so they're looking to save money any way they can. And if they can rent out a nice place in a good neighborhood, which allows you to buy in a good neighborhood, they're going to be willing to pay a little bit more for that small apartment in a good neighborhood. Usually it's going to have better schools, lower crime, be a safer area, and your resale value is going to be much better when you go to sell that property. Another reason ADUs are great is because they're set up for mother-in-laws or aging parents, right? The cost of nursing homes and facilities like that now, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month or more, can be really expensive. So you also have kids that are returning back home that might be between jobs, looking for a temporary place to stay for just a few months or a few weeks. And when you have an accessory dwelling unit, a place where they can come and be with family, but still maintain their privacy and independence, well, that's a big help for people. Not only does it offset your mortgage and allow you to afford more house, it gives them a safe landing place, somewhere to call home, somewhere they feel safe and trusted, but still have their own independence, especially if you have a separate entrance like this one does. Some of the things you'll want to look into before putting an offer in on one of these homes with an ADU is the legal status of the apartment. Does that city allow it? More and more cities, especially in Utah and other states, are allowing those now, but there's still some cities that are holding on to the old ways, not wanting to allow them for fear that they might turn into an Airbnb. So you want to make sure to check with your local rules and regulations before putting an offer on that property, because you never know, it might not be allowed. But if it's currently not allowed, don't despair, because there are ways to get those things approved if you go through the right channels and work with the city. Another thing that you want to make sure you find out and verify, does it have separate utilities? Does it have a separate electric meter? Does it have a separate gas meter? If it doesn't have those, how much are you going to charge for those utilities? You want to make sure it's fair and they're paying their fair share of the utilities that they're using. But if you have one built, or if you're building a home, make sure you think about adding a separate electric meter and gas meter. In the long run, that's going to be way less hassle and a lot less fighting over the utility costs when you give them their bill and tell them what they owe. If you can actually measure those costs and provide that information for them, they're going to be much more comfortable paying that bill, rather than you just telling them, hey, you owe me this amount because we only have one meter, we're splitting the costs. Because usually the ADU is a much smaller unit than the rest of the home. And if you are building an ADU, the cost is typically between $70,000 and $150,000, depending on whether it's a basement finish or whether it's a detached. If it's going to be detached, you got to figure running extra utilities to those areas, like sewer, gas, water lines, electric. So those are significant costs if it's a detached building. If it's a basement, typically it's going to be on the lower end of that. I've seen some of them built out for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath for as little as $50,000 here in Utah. It's most likely going to add 20 to 30% to your home's value, because there's a lot of people out there right now looking for ADUs. So if you have an unfinished basement and you have the ability to add a walkout and finish that basement off with a separate entrance like this one has over here for some privacy and independence, well, you're going to be set, because you're going to be able to sell that home a lot faster and always be able to rent that property out in case of a job loss, or maybe somebody gets hurt, they need somebody to come in and help take care of them or something like that. It just opens up a wide array of possibilities when you have an ADU. Also, some cities offer incentives because they're having such a housing crisis that they offer incentives for pre-approved ADU plans. So if you're planning on building a particular city, go in and talk to them, and you might be able to get something approved much quicker than you would otherwise. But do remember, permitting can take a little bit of time. So plan ahead, go in and talk to your city, find out what their rules and regulations are, and see what you have to do to comply with their ADU rules. It's always better to ask beforehand, because cities are cracking down on some of these ADUs that people have added after the fact that don't meet the building codes and cause problems in their neighborhood. Parking is another issue. A lot of neighbors don't like if you've got tons and tons of on-street parking. So if you can provide off-street parking for your ADU, that's another huge benefit to provide for them. And it'll also keep your neighbors happy with you, so less likely to get reported and have problems with your neighbors. If you have outside living areas that you can share with your ADU tenants, all the better. Most of us don't use our outside living areas all the time. So if you have some amenities that you can offer them, maybe like this beautiful outside sitting area and a fire pit. Over here, they've got a nice movie theater area and a basketball court and a trampoline area over here, great for the kids, and a slide. It's going to make your ADU a lot more popular and a lot more rentable if you have some outdoor amenities that you're willing to share with the people that are renting your place out. And one word of caution, because I have a property with an ADU and we love it, but we vet our people very closely. We look at all their social media posts, Facebook, Instagram, things like that, and just to make sure that they're the type of tenant that we would like to rent to. I have a client in American Fork, and their mortgage payment was going to be $3,200 a month. But that property had an ADU on it, and they were able to reduce that mortgage payment by $1,200 a month, taking their mortgage payment all the way down to $2,000 a month. They rent that place out for $1,200 a month, and it allowed them to get a much bigger home in a nicer neighborhood in the school district that they wanted to be in. So ADUs provide a lot of benefits, not only for the owner, but also the people that are renting them. So if you're trying to buy a home in Utah and want more home for less monthly cost, well, an ADU might be just the thing you're looking for. So click the link down below for the ADU Home Buyer's Guide. In that guide, it's going to answer a lot of questions that you might have about ADUs. I'll provide as much information as possible. If I don't cover something in that buyer's guide, feel free to drop me a line, send me a text or give me a call, or leave a comment down below, and I'll make sure I find that information out for you, get right back to you. ADUs are a great way for you to afford more home in a better area than you thought you could. So if you're interested in ADUs or taking a look at any of them, feel free to reach out to me, schedule a call, and we'll go find one that's right for you. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you're getting anything out of these videos, hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, this is Chris. I'll talk to you later.